Hi Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. I'm back with Flosstube number 45. I'm recording this on Friday, May 24, 2024. I'm so happy to have you back with me, and my longtime subscribers, thank you so much for your support, for your comments, and just your ongoing interactions with me virtually. I really appreciate it. And if you're new and have stumbled on my Flosstube, welcome. So happy to have you here. I hope you'll see something that you like and that you will subscribe and stay and join us. I would love to have you as part of my virtual stitching family. Thank you. Well, it's been a great 2 weeks. I stitched every day to some extent, even if a couple times it was just 2 threads in something because I was distracted by another sewing project, but I'll tell you about all of that. I had an in-person stitching meetup with Central Kentucky Stitchers. It was the first time since I'd been gone for the winter season, so it was great to see everyone in person, those who were there. Our group continues to grow. We get new members. It's so much fun. If only everybody could be there all at the same time. You know, sometimes schedules don't work quite the way we hoped they would. We also had a Zoom meeting with the same group the following week. And as it turned out, the second Tuesday and the fourth Thursday ended up not very far apart. So we've had 2 visits, and it's been great. And it was nice meeting on the Zoom some new stitchers. That was great. So welcome to our group. If you're interested in the Central Kentucky Stitchers group, you can join on Facebook. You have to answer a few questions, simple questions. Any stitcher would know how to answer the questions. If you don't answer the questions, you won't get allowed in. So don't think we're discriminating. You have to answer the questions. But we'd love to have you. As I say, we have a Zoom meeting, way to meet, so even if you are not close enough to drive to our face-to-face meetup, you can visit by Zoom, and we would have so much fun. So that's that. On the last, or as a result of the last Flosstube, there are some things I want to address. One is someone asked me, what is a flat fold? I just assumed everyone knows, you know, DOI. Never assume you know what that does. So I brought a flat fold, but I will refer you to Vanna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher. She has all the tutorials on her website. Some are written and some are video, and they're wonderful, and she is the guru of all kinds of finishing, and that's how in fact, I rewatch it every time I'm doing a flat fold, so I do it right. So you have your stitched piece. This happens to be Halloween from Jardin Privé. So you have your stitched piece and you mount it on the mat board. And you have another piece that you put on the back of it that has lining fabric. And then you have another piece on the back that has an extended fabric tab that gets glued in. That gives you your hinge, like a book. And then you put a ribbon at the bottom to stop it, you know, from sliding open, and it's a flat fold. It stands this way. It's a nice little finish. It's certainly less expensive than framing, and it's really sweet. And then when you store it, it folds very flat, nice and easy. And so this was the one I could easily put my hands on. That's a flat fold. Thank you for asking that question and reminding me that I should not assume that everyone knows what I'm talking about. Okay, there was another comment that disappeared before I could answer it. I don't understand how that happens. I did get interrupted, but when I went back, I hadn't closed it. The comment just was not there, and I tried to go through the whole list. And I know who it was because she's a longtime subscriber. I know the name, so I saw the name. I didn't quite finish reading the whole comment, but she was commenting about the Algerian eyelets. In the last video, I was telling you how Nicola Parkman explained how she goes around the outside and works a path outside and then comes back on the inside to finish, so she's never crossing the hole. Well, Kathy in New York, hi Kathy, was saying that she's very aware not to drag her thread across that hole, and so what she does is she just weaves her thread on the back behind stitches that she's already put in. And that's another perfectly good way to do it. I just thought I would share how Nicholas said to do it. But thank you, Kathy. And don't think I was ignoring your comment. It somehow disappeared. One of those YouTube gremlins I don't understand at all. Several people asked to see my samplers on the wall. Now, as you know, I'm sort of tech phobic and I don't know how to edit. So when I start this video, it is what it is, and we hope there's no great disaster. But I can show you on my iPad pictures. Okay, let me go back to the other one. When I'm on the lower level of our house, and when you come down the stairway, there's a wall directly in front, and then to the left of that is where we have the fuse box. I've told you before about I made the quilts to hang over that specific spot to hide the fuse box. Okay, so this is the arrangement I put on that wall at the bottom of the stairs coming down. These are not reproduction samplers. They're Blackbird design. Oops, this one in the middle is Beth Twist and I think it was Tanya Brockmeyer who did this, designed it to be done by two people. I did it myself and put in initials of friends. Most of these are personalized to my family and so forth. This one is My Dear Hearts Blackbird Designs. I have my grandchildren's initials and birth years in. This is What Remains Is Love. Up here, that one is Christmas Rose, Blackbird Designs, and I have personalized that to memorialize my mother. And then this one is Blackbird Designs from the Winds of Autumn. It is the Mighty Acorn. I don't know if you can see those very well. So that's a little wall, and there's room for more on that wall. Okay, now in the family room, oh, it flipped someplace here. Now it went to every single picture I've ever taken in my life. Just a minute here. There it is. Okay, in the family room we have there's an inset in the wall and we have a built-in seating bench there. And so on that wall, behind that bench, I've arranged, these are the reproduction samplers. So I have 7 red alphabets from Needlework Press. I have Helene Schnorr JBW Designs across the top. Rosa Sugars, Hands Across the Sea. Maria Vincenza Laricia, Hands Across the Sea. Below that, on this side, oops, oh yes. Okay. Below that, on that side, is Redbird Sampler with the needle and thread. And I think that's Rose Aida Featherstone. And then the smallest one there is the Rose and the Giant Pear. And then the Floral Sampler from Scarlet House. And the little one on that side, did I do it backwards? Jane Parson. Unless I'm saying them backwards. I said them, oops, I'm seeing them the wrong way. Don't do that, Karen. And then the bottom one is Jane Hopkins, Hands Across the Sea. Yeah, so there's room for more. Just have to be careful of, if people sit there, I don't want them knocking them off the wall. But so that's most of them. There are other places where I have one and they're in a separate spot, so I didn't show those. So thank you for being interested. That's the best way I can show them because, as I say, I don't know how to edit. So, okay, it was a great 2 weeks of stitching. I have no fully finished objects. My pile of things waiting to be finished is still sitting there piled up. I had thought I would do a day, but I got distracted by another sewing project, so I didn't get any final finishing done, or fully finishing done. And I have no FOs this time of finished stitching projects. So we'll go right to my whips. Forget Me Not, Modern Folk Embroidery, and this is currently my focus piece. And as my longtime viewers know, but new people don't know, I have a focus piece which I choose to always be my oldest whip. And it happens to be this modern folk embroidery, but I'm not doing it like this. Of course, I'm doing it into the box like Katie Strachan made. So first I'll show you the part I finished from last time. As you will recall, children, I was doing the long piece that goes the sides and the front and then around the other side of the box. And I finished filling in all of those motifs. And the initials are done, and this has been pressed, and I just took it out of the project bag to show you, and it will go back in the project bag so it won't be touched by an iron again till it's finished. So that's the front and sides. Let me do this. I have the box here. The lid is off, but that piece will go on the side, across the front, and the side. I've done the top for the lid, and the next part I'm going to show you is for the back. So let me get this out of the way. Okay. So Katie Strachan's, I can show you the picture. This is a picture of her, the way she did the back, the motifs she chose for the back. But in the pattern, there's this forget-me-not with a year and this flower basket next to it. And I liked that, and I wanted that, because then I would have the year that I have stitched it, and then around, like on the other sides, I would have my initials and my birth year represented, and I liked that. So I spent not a little bit of time doing my stitchy math, counting with counting pins, making sure, will this fit, will this fit, will this fit? It will fit. So those two motifs are going to go here. You can see I had basting stitches for my top, bottom, and sides to make sure I did the center line, counted, 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 and yes, it will fit. So this is the forget-me-not motif, and then the basket will go over here, and there'll be plenty of room for my initials and birth year numbers. So that's what I'm going to do, because I wanted to do it that way, not to disparage Katie in any way. She's an artist, and I'm trying to copy, but you know, sometimes you have to do your own little thing. So that's that. That was my first whip, and I still owe that 2 more days this month. As I said, I do 7 days a month for my focus piece, and I've given it 5, so it gets 2 more days. And then whatever days are left in the month, I do whatever I want. Yeah, new start, or work on another whip that I have going, or whatever I feel like. Okay, the next whip I worked on is Peaceful Kingdom from Little Robin Designs. I worked on this, you saw this last time too. And I've worked on this at Zoom stitching and at our face-to-face meetup. It's coming along pretty well. This is stitched on 40 count ivory linen. It's not over dyed, from Wichelt. I am using DMC number 115. It's a variegated, as you can see. Now some people I know are very clever in the way they cut their thread and place their colors and so forth. I just go with it, whatever the next thread is, and go with it. And I'm pretty pleased with it. So I'm getting there. That's my red stitch, and I've checked that off in my book of days. Oh, I didn't show you that. So in my book of days, for the month, I put my goals for the month over here, and when they're done, I check them off. So I've checked off the red sampler, I've checked off Forget-Me-Not, I've not yet checked off, no, I've not checked off Mason jar lineup. Again, I said Forget-Me-Not was my focus. It's not my focus. Mason jar lineup is my focus, so that's not checked off, and Forget-Me-Not is checked off because it had 5 days. Who am I? I don't know. You'd think I'd know what my own stuff is, but I did a new start. I'm so excited about this one. It is Katharina, Adriana, Leunissen, 1777, and this is from 1884 Stitchery. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. I am stitching this with Emily C's conversion. It's DMC conversion. Now, this is a picture of the antique. So there's no such thing as what was the model stitch done. This is a picture of the antique. Emily chose Dusty Road, I believe. And when I called the attic to get this, get the fabric I needed for this, because it's wider than a fat quarter, they didn't have Dusty Road, but they suggested Praline. Do you say Praline or Praline? Whichever way. It's beautiful fabric. See that modeling in there? I think it's just the right touch of modeling in that to look like that antique. And so I said there were a couple days when I did the 2 threads. I did them in this. I want to really establish this width. I was really nervous taking that big piece of fabric and doing my stitchy math and figuring it out. And I even added an extra inch on each width because I didn't want to mess up when I cut. So there's my little start, and as I say, I'm using Emily's DMC conversion, and that's where I am so far on this one. And she is stored in one of my Tiger Lily Project Keeper bags. Love it, because it's all DMC, so I have the page with DMCs. Love it. So that is my new start, Katharina, Adriana, Leunissen. I told you before I grew up in West Michigan. We had a neighbor, her name was Adriana. That's how we said it. We always said her name, Adriana. You know, you can't take the Michigan out of me, but I believe it's probably Adriana. So anyway, I'll try to be a grown-up and pronounce it the right way. Okay, the next thing I did was My Home Sweet Home from Brenda Gervais. The project goes this way. And I am using Katie Strachan's original silk conversion that I purchased from the attic. And I've got a little start there, starting to fill in the house and started the basket. Didn't get that done yet. So it's a sweet little thing. Love it. As I say, Katie Strachan is our artist on Flosstube. Okay, Home Sweet Home. Now, Mason jar lineup. This is my focus piece. This is what gets 7 days in the month, and this has had 5 days so far, and I owe it 2 more. So these are the last jars. This is the last jar, and I'm trying to get this jar is done, ready to do flowers, and I'm trying to get these 2 done so I can then go up and do the flowers. That way I kind of get those that group of colors done and out of my way. So it's going to be so pretty. Ignore this. This was a practice of Montenegrin when I didn't have anything else to practice on, so I'll have to take that out. I haven't done that yet. So it's so pretty. Seeing it on that screen, that just is so pretty. The back stitching makes it come to life. Now, you didn't see it back stitched last time because I didn't have the back stitching done. Aren't those details nice? And there are some French knots on those flowers. There's some French knots on these flowers over here too. So that's Mason jar lineup. It's a dimensions kit. The fabric is 14 count Aida. That's what comes in the kit, and it comes with all the threads. I don't know what they are. I don't know. They could be DMC for all I know, but they don't tell you what they are. Okay, the next thing I did was Long and Winding Road, Blackbird Designs, part of the Magical Mystery Tour. I have 3 completed. This is my number 4. Numbers 5 and 6, I took to our Stitchy meetup and had consultation on which fabric to use for them. So we chose the fabric for Octopus's Garden and the Yellow Submarine. Thanks so much for your input. I think we came up with a great choice. So, so those are kitted, ready to go, but Long and Winding Road is what I'm working on now. And, oops, this is where I am, and yes, I have my needle stuck in it. And I wish I could finish it on a a shaker box, but I think I'll probably have to settle for a paper mache or something. Isn't it pretty? And last time I told you I had picked up the wrong thread color. And so these darker blue stripes on the house were lighter. Well, I fixed those with suggestions of my stitching friends. They said just stitch over them, and I did. So, and it looks fine. Looks fine. So I've done the double outline of this path. Have just the start on the tree, and this, I don't know what that is, a pedestal of some kind there. It'll have flowers too. So that's Long and Winding Road. And this is, let me remind you all of these sales that are going on. Let me hold it still so you can see them. Sarah's Stitchy Spot, and I don't know her friends. I can't remember who her friends are, but they're right there with the @ Peg and Julie. So there's the Fab Four fan sale and the BBD Magical Mystery Tour sales. If you'd like to participate, jump on. I'm really disappointed in Instagram. I can't see them. It's like I go to see what everyone else has posted, and all I see is what they say is the most popular post or something. I don't know. I don't get to see everybody, so that's very disappointing. So that ends my my whips for the week. And let's see, what else was I going to say now? I do have some haul. I have some pretty interesting haul. Okay. Holly, Hobbies of Holly, on her Flosstube. She showed these silicone. I have 3 empty ones right now. I'm going to, now that I've shown them to you, I'm going to get these taken care of. Spools fit in these. So I put my spools from Margaret Hutton, the one I got from the Nicola's retreat / workshop. Look how sweet that is. All fit in there. You can see what they are. They don't roll around. They don't clunk around and clink. I love them. If you would like them, you can get information from Holly at Hobbies of Holly. Contact her and watch her Flosstube. She's great. So I have 5 of these. 3 more here to do. I wanted to show those to you. I love those. Now I do have this plastic spool box. These are these silks for the My Home Sweet Home with the Katie Strachan's conversion. And I had purchased this box and put them in here. I'm going to switch them to a spool pod, just because they're noisy. But this works. It works, and it's very inexpensive, but there you are. Choices. Okay, that was one piece of haul. I also got my Floss Fix from Fat Quarter Shop. This is Classic Colorworks Floss Fix for May. This is my first Classic Colorworks shipment. 1, 2, 3, I have 6 colors. Fool's Gold, 4-leaf clover, fresh brew, frog's legs, frosted sage, and frosty. Very pretty. So now I can get these put away since I've shown them to you. I made an order from Stitch Folk. Barry, you're so sweet. Look at this. Look at this picture. This is a tote bag. It'll hold project bags when I go stitching. Look at these. Look at these kids. Isn't that cute? Stitch Posse. So that's the first part of my order. Got that. I have more coming. You know, there you go. Just can't stop. Okay, and the other part of my haul is, okay, now I think I showed you the pattern because, okay, Sarah Lawton. To me, this was the standout from Market. I saw this one and just went, oh, I've got to have that one. And I did not hear people talking about it, talking it up, like they didn't notice it. I don't know how it could have been so overlooked. but I love it. I love the colors. I love all the things that are in it. Love it, love it, love it. So I had the pattern. She calls for 40 colors, but they're DMC, but still 40 colors. And I ordered fabric from the attic. What did I choose? Jersey cream. Jersey cream. It'll be pretty. It's not an overdye. It doesn't have to be. There's an awful lot of stitching on that. It'll be pretty covered. Now, how am I going to tame 40 flosses? Ta-da! Tiger lilies, patterns. Again, I Frankensteined this to make enough for the 40 colors. And, of course, it had to have a project bag, project keeper. So I used one of my favorite flamingo fabrics. I even fussy cut the little tab. And I was so short on fabric, I put a different one on the back because I didn't have enough. But so it has its own bag. And so if I ever have a project again with many colors, I have this. This can slide. No, it doesn't really slide now. I keep it in the middle. So it just lays in there. But Tiger Lily, I love your designs, Carrie. Thank you so much for selling your pattern, sharing your intellectual property with all of us. I appreciate it. So this is now my new project keeper with Sarah Lawton and enough bobbin holders to hold 40 colors. I could hold more, but it holds the 40. I'm really happy with that. So this was the sewing project that distracted me for a while. I did not run a clock on it. Some people run a clock. I don't run a clock. For one thing, let's see, I have to do this. I have to go get this. Where is that thing? And then I get distracted, and so I couldn't count how much time it takes to sew it. So I'm not that organized. That's haul. Okay. Plans. I pledge before the next Flosstube, I will spend at least one day finishing. Whether I start with the ornaments or the drum or the big strawberry or I don't know, but I will spend at least one day finishing. Hold me to it. Here comes my Flosstube through. Hang on. I'm going to unframe a couple things. During pandemic, I wasn't going anywhere. I was not going to go out and get something framed. I had some standard frames that I happened to have with me in Florida. Like what was that about? I don't know, but I did. But they just aren't right. They aren't right. And I have these things out with my nicely framed, where there's the border is all even around, and these just don't. They deserve better because I love both the pieces. Hang on here, gotta bend down. Okay. This is Strawberry Fields for Blackbird Designs, part of the Magical Mystery Tour. It's just a standard 8x10, I think. But I don't know, it's so simple, and the borders or the margins are wider here than they are top and bottom. I don't like that. And the other ones that I've already framed just have nice frames that are interesting, and this is all plain and blah. So I'm gonna take this out, get it framed nicely. Okay, the other one, oops, didn't mean to do that. The other one is Cinnamon Stars, which everybody's seen this. I love it. Love it, love it. Well, I had this bigger frame. So I put the mat board and covered it with fabric, just loosely covered it, because when I put this together, I thought I'm gonna undo this someday, so I'm not doing anything permanent. And that fabric I had wanted for a specific project. When I went to Florida, I took projects, and everything I had was assigned to a project. And in order to finish this, I had to say, okay, I won't do that project. And I used that fabric. I put it on a board, a mat board, and what I see is this is really close here. I hope I left a big margin. And I'm pretty sure that I used that double-sided acid-free tape for a tapestry. and taped it on. I did not glue. I purposely didn't glue because I knew I would be taking it apart. So fingers crossed this can come out and get a nice finish and frame. The frame is nice. I like it, but it's just way too big for this project. It doesn't work. This is 11 by 14, I think. I don't know, it doesn't say. It's 11 by 14, big. So cinnamon stars, I want to get a complimentary, attractive framing job on this one too. So I'm gonna do that, get those taken apart. Get those fixed nicely so they can go, oops, they can hang with my other things proudly. Okay, that's the other thing I'm gonna do. I'm going to clean and oil my long arm. I have a quilt, it's been probably 2 years on a shelf, covered in plastic so it doesn't get dusty. Quilt top done, I have the backing, I think I've cut the binding already too, so, and it's waiting to be done. So I'm gonna get the machine up and running, do a little practice on it, make sure it's oiled well because it's been sitting a long time. So I'm gonna get that done and up and on there. Now I have not planned. I need plan time when I look at the quilt. How am I gonna? What am I gonna? Da da da. And I haven't done that because I haven't looked at it for a couple of years. So before I start quilting away at it, I want a good plan. So so that may take some time, but I will get it up and loaded and ready to go, and then make my plan. The next thing, it's time to start thinking about State Fair. Because the entries have to be submitted by July 10. And I want to have a good idea in my head before I submit an entry that, yeah, that'll be done and I'll be able to submit that. So that specific quilt is one. I have another one in there that I have a fancy finish I want to do on it. Some beads, I don't know how to tell you this. Beth Ann Nemish is the one who does this. She calls it The Devil is in the Details, and she has a book out that shows you how to take this string of beads and you have fabric and you tie a knot between each bead. And so you have this like string of beads covered with fabric, and then it gets sewn into the seam, whether it's at the binding or along a whatever. I mean, these people, these professionals, I'll tell you, they make stuff over the top like, oh, I can't believe. But it's not a whole bed-size quilt, but still, to do that beading, you're talking hours and hours and hours and hours, probably 2 weeks of just doing that. I'm guessing because I haven't actually done it, but I have the beads, I have the fabric, I have the quilts done and ready. I think I even have the border fabric. I remember going to a quilt show and getting the correct Tula Pink border fabric color. So anyway, okay, I'm not guaranteeing that one, but I will get the other one on the machine. The other thing, and then I need to look at the categories and look at my cross stitching and see what's going to go in. So, okay, the other thing, are you doing Mrs. Parkman's Needlework Academy? She has the free one. She started on Sunday. I mean, you haven't missed anything. You can go back and look at it. It's free download from Hands Across the Sea. It's called ABC or something like that. And she shows, the first session, she showed several ways to start. Waist knot, there's a long waist knot and a shorter waist knot, which is what I usually do. She showed pin stitch again, another great way to start, and she showed it on Aida and linen. Anyway, so this piece, when it gets done, would be quite long. Even if you have a high count fabric, it would be quite long. And I don't have anything that's that long. And I've decided what I'm going to do is make a stitching book. I have to figure out how I'm going to do it, but I will have a page where, and she wants you to handwrite your own directions and instructions on how to do this thing. So the first week would be the starting knots, the way to start. So I'll do that in hand, in my writing, and then have a sample fabric, whether it's linen or Aida, and make a page for that lesson and make a page for the next lesson. And I envision putting grommets on the fabric and putting them together as a book. That's what I'm going to do, rather than do it as a sampler, which looks very interesting too, but I'm thinking I'll do a stitching book. Then I have to figure out how to do it. I probably have to talk to Molly at Linens and Scraps. Come on, Molly, how do I do this book thing? Teach me. So those are my plans. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to move on to the quilt, my featured quilt. And so if you're not staying for the quilt, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Let me move this stuff out of the way so I can get to the camera and not knock stuff over. I've got a mess here. Okay, if you're queasy, I'm going to move the camera, so you might want to look away. And I'm going to pull this stuff back so I have room. Sorry. Okay, the quilt. It is, the 2012 Designer Mystery Quilt from Fat Quarter Shop. The featured fabric that year was Bonnie and Camille, vintage, oh, I wrote it in the notes, hang on. Vintage Modern? Vintage Modern, I think, I'm almost sure it is. I absolutely fell in love with that, that line of fabric. So the premise, if you're a Fat Quarter Shop watcher, you know what they do. They have the Designer Mystery. Each of these blocks is designed by a different designer, and every month you get the block and pattern and fabric, and then you can choose to buy the backing and finishing fabric if you like, which I did, I liked. Now this is not custom quilted. This was the 2012 Mystery, and my label says that I finished it in 2015. So that was relatively early on in my quilting, long arm quilting time. So it's quilted with a pantograph. I've got the pantograph right here. And the pantograph is called Deja Vu, and it's from Urban Elements with a Z. And when I look at this, I can see that I turned my quilt sideways and did the pantographs top to bottom. Or what I was doing was going across the wide part. I turned it the wide part on the machine and then went the width, which is now the length. So not a lot to say about the quilting because it was a pantograph and I did nothing special. I can tell I was still intimidated by the machine. I look at a couple places with the tension that I didn't know squat about fixing. So anyway, it was part of my quilting journey. And I have the patterns. I could have pulled them out and told you who designed each different block, but I didn't do that. But to me, the story of that quilt is the colors. I love, love, love those colors. I can't get down to the bottom. Keep moving my camera down. It doesn't want to go down to the bottom. There we are at the bottom. Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, of course, that line of fabric is not available because that's the way fabrics are, not like cross-stitch patterns. So they do a run of fabric, and when it's done and gone and gone. Now I did have, hang on, I could show this. From my sewing machine, I made, to go on the front of my sewing table, hold it here, a pin cushion out of these fabrics, and a little thing that goes down the front of my machine where I stick things. And this, that pink tab has a button place to button on a little trash bag, but I found that was always in the way, so I just set the trash bag aside and used my big trash can. So, but I love these fabrics and found a lot of use for it. So, okay, that's the end of my video this time. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Happy stitching. Bye-bye.